Okay, my friends, today we will be going over algebraic expressions. Now, first things first, in this lesson, on the worksheet, what you're going to need to do is write your answers, and some of your answers might look something along the lines like this, right? We're actually dealing with expressions now. And the thing that I want to first start off with is on the worksheet. How do you do powers, right? How are you going to do fractions, right? I try to look for a tool online you could go in and easily write this out, copy it, and paste it onto the worksheet, but for some reason it just doesn't exist, right? Some of you that have Microsoft Word, you could use the equation button at the top right corner, and you could write your equation. Whether it copies and pastes it onto our PDF worksheet, I don't know. But that is why I want you to start getting the habit of doing stuff using your keyboard on your computer. I want you to get familiar how you're going to do powers, whether it be 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 3, 2 to the power of 4, whatever that is. When we're dealing with powers, from this point forward on, on your what's it called, keyboard, what you are going to do, the way you're going to display this on the worksheet using your keyboard is obviously put 2, and when you want to do the power, what you got to do is hold shift, and in my case it's 6. You're going to click on 6 to get that caret sign. Just look at your top numerical keyboard to get the little caret sign, the little upside down V, so that you get that symbol, and then you put your 3. That is 2 to the power of 3. So when I see that on the worksheet, I know you're doing 2 to the power of 3. Okay, that's how we do our powers. I said on my keyboard it's shift to the shift and 6. I think that's the same all throughout every keyboard. I don't know, but there's that. Fractions. Whenever you want to deal with a fraction or put a fraction in your final answer, the way you're going to do it in this specific case is 1 and then the slash 2, right? That's how you do fractions from this point forward. The last one, which is the main reason why I'm doing this, is the square root sign. If you got to do 2, let's just do 2 for right now. The way you're going to do that is actually pretty complicated because there is no button of that on our keyboard. Again, if you have alternatives to do any of this, please by all means use it or do it because it'll help you. But the way you're going to do it is, this is how, when you click on next, when you go to download the worksheet, you're going to be looking at this right here. Click here to download the worksheet. But before that, look here. Copy and paste the following square root symbol into your document. I want you to copy this little symbol, copy. And then whenever you do go to your worksheet, by the way, this isn't the actual worksheet. I'm just using an example. You know, our PDF is fillable. I've created this for y'all. Whenever you need to do the square root sign, now you could just paste it on. And then the square root of 2, right? So that's how we got to deal with this in terms of our worksheet, sadly. But yeah, just do that for the time being, or do whatever way you want to do it to get me the correct layout. So for example, if you get an answer that's like this, 2 squared plus 1/2 xy minus the square root of 3x to the power of 2. How are we going to write all of that in our worksheet? 2 to the power of 2, let's say this is the worksheet and it's for this answer, let's say 2 caret sign 2, right? And then it was plus 1/2 xy. So I'm right here, shift plus 1 over 2 xy, and then minus the square root. So minus, the square root, I don't see a button. I gotta come here, I gotta copy this, Control C, Control V, there it is. And what was the thing? 3x squared. So I'm gonna put 3x, and again the squared button is the caret sign, squared. and then that'll be your final answer right there. And I would know that you got the correct answer, right? So now that we got that out of the way, let's actually continue on with today's lesson, which is algebraic expressions. All right, so this one's a tough one. If there's one lesson that is tough, is this one. Why is it tough? Because it involves word problems. So you have to memorize this. You'll get the gist of it, trust me. But here's the thing. On the GED, you'll actually be given a question similar to this. It'll be, this one's actually a bit more complicated. This is asking for the expression, but if we look at the worksheet section, which isn't here, let me just pull it up very quick. If we look here at one of the examples, do not be surprised. You might see a question similar to this, word for word. The product of 3 and the square of a number increased by that number. And then what they'll do is, under the multiple choice sections, they'll give you 4 expressions and asking you pretty much which one of those mathematical expressions represents what they said in the words, right? So that is what we need to memorize. Let me delete that. And that's why this is going to help you. Each of these word formats, this is how that is in symbol form. So please memorize this. There's just a couple stuff that I want to go over in this video. This video isn't really detailed. Like I just said, you just got to memorize this, and then on the worksheet, just try to write out the mathematical expression of the wordings that they give you. So, but there is a couple hints that I could give you. Some stuff I want to teach you, and that is this: the operations. Operations. What operations means? We know what operations are. The 4 operations that everybody likes: the adding, subtracting, the multiplying, and dividing. So I just want to teach y'all the wordings that might be associated for each of this. And no, I don't mean plus, minus, times, dividing, right? I mean the mathematical terms. The mathematical terms of each of these operations. For instance, plus, the plus sign. When you see the word sum, I want you to think of addition. So when they give you a question like, what is the sum of 3 and 2? They are asking, what is the answer when you add 3 plus 2? All right, this is the sum. What is the sum of 3 and 2? How does it look like? It's 3 plus 2. It's an addition problem. It's the answer of an addition problem, right? The word for minus, the mathematical word, is difference. Difference. When they say, what is the difference between 6 and 2? It is saying, what is the difference between 6 and 2? What is the answer when you subtract 6 and 2? That's the key word, difference, for subtraction. Times. What is times? You guys might think multiply. No, that's just the operation's name, right? That's the actual symbol. That's the actual operation. I get it. But in the word problem format, the way it's going to come across is product. What is the product of 6 and 3? It's asking you, what is the answer of a multiplication problem of 6 times 3? Product. And dividing. What's the answer to this one? This one's a tough one. It's probably new for most of you. Quotient. What is the quotient of 93? That's all it's asking for, right? So these are the key words that y'all must memorize. That's the first thing I want to explain to you in the video. And again, now we jump into the actual algebraic expressions. Like I said, you're going to be given this terminology that looks so weird. It's because they expect you to write the operation of it in symbols in a certain pattern. If we look here, the product of 5 and a number. Product, we just went over that, means multiplying. So when they say the product of 5 and a number, that's going to be key. When they say and a number, from this point forward, we're dealing with algebra. So the product of 5 and a number. Whenever you see a number, that just means an unknown number. We don't know. So in math, the famous one that they like to give is X for an unknown number. It technically could be a question mark. It could be a B, C. It doesn't matter what the letter is, because it's just an unknown number. That's what a variable is. So, but majority of the time, you're going to see X as that unknown number. So if we look here, the product of 5 and a number. What is 5 times a number? How does it look like in symbolic terms? 5x. Let me zoom in for y'all. That's the product of 5 and a number. So what is the product of 6 and a number? That's 6x. What is the product of 120 and a number? 120x. You get that? So from this point forward, whenever you see a phrase that's similar to that, you now know to associate it to something similar to that. So you're just going to go through your list and memorize them all. A number decreased by 12. Oh, decreased. All right. So they might give you difference for subtraction, but decrease is very specific. That is also subtraction, but that one's a lot more straightforward. A number decreased by 12. The way that looks like is x minus 12. Do not, so this is your other lesson, do not put, let's see, hold on, let's read it again. A number decreased by 12. You cannot put 12 minus a number. That'll give you something different. It is saying a number decreased by 12. Okay? It means a number decreased by 12. So it's that one there. The sum of 3 and the square of a number. Square is, I did go over this. Did I go over this? I'm not sure. But if you need to know this, square of a number, that means the power, specifically to the power of 2. That's squared. So if you might be given this too. So 3 squared, right? What about 4 to the power of 3? What's the fancy word for that one? If this one's squared, what's any number to the power of 3? The fancy word is cubed. All right. What is any number to the power of 4? Any guesses? Any guesses? Any guesses? It's just to the power of 4. From this point forward, anytime you switch this to power of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, it doesn't matter. From that point forward, is all just going to be to the power of, and then whatever that number is. 7 to the power of, in this case, 5, right? It's just the squared and the 3, the 2 and the 3 that has the fancy words of squared and cubed. So, yeah. The sum of 3 and the square of a number. The sum, so the answer when you add 3 and the square of a number. And that's how it looks like. So please, my friends, memorize all of this. Please, please, please. I did want to go over the next one. 6 less than the quotient of a number and 2. 6 less than. So you make this a habit to just follow the order of the wordings that they give you, which is actually bad. If you say 6 less than, your brain wants to immediately say 6 less than the quotient, the dividing. And by the way, in algebra, you won't see dividing like this, even though I put that as an example. In algebra, dividing is as a fraction. This means 9 divided by 3. So that is why the example gave it to you in fraction form. So 6 less than the quotient of a number and 2. So quotient, division, fraction, the quotient of a number divided by 2. So, oopsie, that's a minus sign. X and 2. The quotient of a number and 2. All right, that's how it looks like. But you would be wrong if you put this. It's actually supposed to look like this, right? And the thing is, whenever you are dealing with subtraction, make it a habit of really paying attention. 6 less than, that when you see the less than, something less than, when you see that keyword less than, it's actually going to go the opposite way. It's going to be at the ending. So if they say 6 less than a number squared, so that just means a number squared and then less than that number squared. 6 less than that number squared. Please just get familiar with these. You might get a couple confusing ones, such as a number less than another number. When you're given another number, you just use a different letter for it. Because remember, it doesn't technically really matter. You could put anything for those, but in math they like to use X, Y, Z, A, B, C. It doesn't matter. So just get familiar with all the tips and tricks, and then please submit the worksheet correctly using your new keyboard tricks, along with the copying and paste that little square root sign in case it's needed. So yeah, please get that done.